welcome. I'm gonna start this session standing up. I think it's gonna be good. Today is a very special session. It's number 6, vitamin B6 for this Map to Mastery program. So we have completed already 5 weeks of coaching, of ideas, of things that we're doing, and today the topic for our coaching session is vitamin B6, which is being consistent. This is one of the hardest challenges to overcome in our coaching program and in our careers as real estate professionals. And the reason is because many are independent contractors, and one of the reasons that is a challenge is because many people do not have the discipline as if they were an employee to show up at a certain time to do certain things. So being consistent is difficult as an independent contractor when we don't have a definite purpose and a schedule that requires that consistency. So today, our focus and the purpose of this coaching session today is to inspire us to maintain discipline during the process and to follow the schedule. And as I mentioned to all of you in our seminar, these are simple tools, these are simple activities, but they're not easy. Being consistent is a simple thing. Doing what works, doing what matters over and over again. That sounds really simple, but it's not easy. The results that I expect and that you can expect to receive if you apply these lessons is developing a tremendous trust in yourself, believing in the power of repetitions, and achieving consistent results. And obviously, one of the most important results that we get out of applying these lessons is becoming really dependable. That's a very important result because most people want to work with somebody they can depend on, somebody dependable. They are trusting you, they are trusting us with perhaps the biggest financial decision that they make in their lives, selling or buying a property. So they want somebody that is dependable. Let's look at this session today. Our business vitamin today is B6, pyridoxine. As you can see in the graph, that's the chemical formula for this business vitamin, B6. But let's see how this vitamin applies to our business practice today. And what we can read here is that this vitamin is responsible for the normal brain development and also for relieving stress to keep our nervous system in place. Why is this important and why do we apply this business vitamin for today? B6, the middle of the program. Between this session and next session, we are in the middle of our 12-week program. Well, to maintain our nervous system and to maintain ourselves relaxed, we have to be consistent. If we know that we are doing what we're supposed to do when we're supposed to do it, then we don't have as much stress as if we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing and expecting something else. So this business vitamin today for B6 about being consistent is about following a routine, about certainty. One of the human needs is the need for certainty. For us to know that something is going to happen. We have the need for love and connection, the need for acceptance, the need for variety, but we also have the need for certainty. And being consistent gives us certainty. Coca-Cola has a recipe for their drink. They are consistent. So if you taste it, it will taste the same thing. Franchising does the same thing. When you buy a franchise, when you join a company and they say, this is how we do it here, and they repeat that process, they develop consistent results. So you know when you go and order that type of food or when you stay at that hotel that you receive something very similar. Consistency also in a recipe. When you follow a recipe, let's say you are getting ready for Thanksgiving and you want to do a great pie, pumpkin pie, and you get the recipe, it shows you the ingredients and it shows you the time that it takes to prepare and what you can expect. And if you follow that, most likely you're going to get that result. But if you take shortcuts and you do it different, well, you're going to have a different result. So then you're going to have a stress. Let's look at the agenda we're going to follow today. We're going to review the 5 business vitamins that are helping you shape your business. And I'm going to dare you to receive. En español, dar para recibir. But in English, I put dare to receive. And the 4 letters for dare is going to be dedication, action, the results that you get, and the enthusiasm that you have. So I dare you. What if we look at these dare words here and we say, how dedicated are we to what we do? What is the level of dedication that we have? Are we committed? Are we really focused and dedicated to following our schedule, to following our routine, to doing what we say we're going to do? What actions are we taking? What are the actions that we're taking every single day to get that result that we plan? Are we really in motion? And obviously, what results are we getting from it? What results are we getting? But what energy, what enthusiasm? How happy are we about what we're doing? How excited are we about what we're doing? So if we have that, we will receive. We're going to talk about consistent practice equals constant results, natural skills. The more you practice, the more skillful you become. And how to be really proactive. Now, we're going to talk about a routine, how to create a routine, and we're going to see the chemical formula of the routine. It's actually also a vitamin. Then today, you're going to make a decision about what do I need to change, because there is a big difference between changing and adjusting versus quitting, and we'll end up with our affirmation for the week. So let's get started here with our first part. Let's review these 5 lessons that we have covered in the past 5 weeks. If we look at being consistent, the first lesson that we talked about was being prepared. And we said we have to prepare ourselves. We started with vitamin B1, and we say, let's talk about preparation. What do we need mentally, physically, and emotionally to prepare for success? So we say, okay, we're going to prepare this way, and that's vitamin B1. Then the second week, we look at vitamin B2, and we say, okay, be a self-starter. How am I going to take off? What do I need to start my day with? And we talk about creating your schedules. And start your day with energy, with a smile, feeding yourself with energy, taking your water with lemon, just getting started. Then in lesson number 3, in B3, we talk about, okay, now be focused. Be focused and make sure that you are focusing on the important things first. Your schedule, your activities. So now you are prepared, you start your day, you're very focused, and then we say, okay, B number 4 is going to be a responder. Practicing your scripts, knowing how to respond instead of reacting. And you develop the routine, and we were asking, track your numbers, track your activities, track your numbers, track your activities, follow your plan. And in that sheet of paper that you have your plan, the 18 steps of your plan, P-L-A-N, P-L-A-N. And we look at that plan and said, what is my plan? Am I following my plan? Am I prospecting, doing it follow-up, attending appointments, negotiating contracts? And in B5, we talk about being on time. And we say timing is everything. How am I managing my time, my 168 hours? Scheduling my life. So we look at these 5 and we say, you know, what am I building here? Am I following my plan? Am I consistent? And we start wrapping around. And right here, we're like, okay, what's missing here? What's missing here? What am I doing with my time? So you have one simple sheet of paper in your workbooks, I think it's page 69, that you have this plan. That if you print that and you say, you know, this is what I do before I prospect, this is what I do after I make the calls, this is what I do to qualify an appointment, this is what I do to attend an appointment, this is what I do after the appointment, and this is what I do before I negotiate an offer. It's all written here. It's very simple, but it's not easy Because some days we do it one way, some days we do it another way, and the challenge is to be consistent. The challenge is to be consistent. So Lorena, thank you very much. You sent me your bio presentation today. I briefly looked at it when I was getting ready for this. I love it. It's like 6 slides to present to people the advantages of working with you to represent them as a powerful buyer agent. All you need now is to have a copy of the exclusive buyer representation for them to sign. But the idea is that if you have the presentation, that you use it consistently, meaning you use it with every single prospect that is interested in buying. That if you have your listing presentation, you use the same presentation and you improve the presentation. You improve the presentation because at the end of the day, the question is, what are we getting out of these 5 weeks? And the main question is that if we have these vitamins here, the main question is, am I following my plan? Am I consistent with my plan? And the big question that you see in your screens here, these vitamins is, am I building a solid business base? Am I building something worth having, worth doing? Or am I taking every of these sessions that I have participated, that you have taken time out of your Mondays, your Tuesdays, your Wednesdays, and participate and listen and get motivated? But are we taking consistent action? Are we taking any action at all? So the main question is, what am I building? What am I doing? Did I plan to succeed? Did I plan to fail? What is it that I'm doing and where is it that I'm going? Where is it that I'm going with this? Because out of this, if you follow it as we have recommended, if you have your schedule, if you have your list of prospects, if you have the discipline to follow your schedule, you will be building a solid foundation. But what happens when we have decided, you know what, instead of shaping it up like this, I'm going to do a little bit on Monday, and next week I'm going to do something like this, and next week I'll do something like this, and pretty soon this is the way I'm shaping up my business. And I look at this piece and say, okay, I'm going to try to replicate that recipe, that maybe I got a little bit of results. Maybe something happened. Maybe I got a listing, maybe I got a sale. But it wasn't consistent because this is what the recipe was, but I didn't do this part, I didn't do this part, I didn't do all these parts, or I did more of this or less of this. Now, I have a piece of a puzzle here. I have a sample. This is how my week was. I started at 6 in the morning one day, at 7 o'clock the next day, at 9 o'clock, another day at 11. I made 3 calls, then I made 5 calls, then I did an appointment. Then, and pretty soon I realized I was really, really busy. But I wasn't building something. I was just busy. And the next day, you say, okay, I'm going to do this again. So I ask, okay, let's create your schedule. Let's create your schedule, because in your schedule, you can actually say, this is the time I get up, this is when I practice, this is when I prospect, this is when I qualify, and these are the appointments I attend. So now I start shaping how I do my business. And if I shape this part, and I say, okay, I'm going to do it consistently, today's session consistently, then I can do it again. Tomorrow, this is when I get up, this is when I practice, this is when I prospect, this is when I qualify, and this is when I go to appointments. Oh wow, now I have a model, now I have a system, and the next day, well, I know when I get up, I know when I practice, this is when I prospect, this is when I qualify, this is when I go to appointments. Oh my God, I start creating now something that I can replicate. I start taking action. And doing a little bit here, you don't have to do it this big. But doing something every single day, consistently, what's going to happen is that the more consistent you are, the easier it is to replicate. Because now you have a model. It doesn't have to be perfect. But at least now you have a way that you can say, you know what, I know what to do, I know when to do it, I know when to start, I am dedicated. I am taking action, I am getting results, and I'm really excited because I am building something. You have to take action, and it's easier to take consistent action a little bit every single day. Making 2 contacts, making 3 contacts, sending your resume, checking your social media, responding to people on time, and creating a routine that will help you build a great business. So when you look at this, am I creating a solid base? Am I creating something really that I can replicate? And you look at nature, and you look at the beehives, and you look at how they produce something, and you have to ask yourself, what am I building? What am I building? What am I doing? Is it working? So it's time for everyone to look and say, based on the last 5 weeks, based on the numbers that I put, where am I now? Because I look at the numbers that are reported, and I know some of you have challenges online. I know some of you have reset completely to start again, but I also know you have the Excel workbooks, you have the Excel spreadsheets. Just in case nothing online works, you have a piece of paper, you have the Excel spreadsheets, and you can print every single week consistently your numbers. So far, I see that the team has made 678 prospects. You have 678 people that you have talked to, 92 leads generated, 61 appointments, and 4 listings taken. That is telling me that people are talking, prospecting, talking to people, having great leads. You know, every 7 people you talk to, you have a lead. And out of those 92 leads, you have 61 appointments. That means you're meeting with people. That is fantastic. But you're not converting. And the reason is because it's not consistent. Because what it's showing is that there is a sparks, and then sparks, and then well, that wears anybody out. What I'm going to ask you to do is to look at your 5 weeks and say, okay, I dare you. How dedicated are you to following your schedule? What actions are you taking every single day consistently? What are you doing consistently? So for 6 weeks, we have met consistently, and we have improved. The first session in Spanish went great. In English we had challenges. The second session was backwards. Then we changed the system. Now I think we adjusted. So we figured out, okay, this is working. Then we uploaded the videos in the Map to Mastery site. Then we decided to put them in Google. So as we progress, we adjust. But we maintain the same schedule, consistent, practicing. I'm so excited that the internet is working better today at home because it's really early. And with the winter, it's much easier to do it here. So I look at all this, and what are we building? And you look at your graph and you said, am I building something worth having? Or am I in a career like anybody else trying to do something? Because if you are consistent, as Thomas Edison puts it, many of life failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they give up. This is not a time to give up. If you don't complete your reports, if you don't take consistent action, and to me, being consistent, persevering, dedication, is making 17 contacts and getting an appointment on the 18th and not quitting in the second or third contact. So you are your own business. You are in charge of your life. When you take consistent actions, when you make those contacts no matter what, can be face to face, can be on the phone, can be on the internet, but that you take that hour, hour and a half, 2 hours every single day to find people that you can offer your services, to help them buy, sell. You have great presentations. I love the presentations you're sending me. They're beautiful. I think they will be even better in front of people that want to buy and sell. But if you don't take consistent action, it's very, very hard to do it. So I ask you that you focus to receive more. So we are looking for this. we're looking for results. But the first thing, you have to be dedicated and you have to take action. I cannot stress enough the importance of tracking your numbers, of being accountable. Because this business is a relationship business based on numbers. The more people you talk to, the more opportunities you create. The more opportunities you create, the more contracts you're going to have. The more contracts, the more money you're going to make. There is nothing difficult about this except consistency. So we all get started like going to the gym, and you do those repetitions boredom, You got to do 10 reps. It's really boring. Look at, to do press, you do 10 times this. And then 10 times more. And then 12, and then 8, and then you put more weight, but it's the same motion to develop that chest, or shoulders, or back, or legs, or you run a mile, and another mile, and another mile, until you complete 26.2, and you run a marathon. It's that consistency that helps you cross the finish line like a champion. But in this business, that's the biggest challenge. And the reason it's a big challenge is because we're independent contractors. We can do whatever we want, whenever we want, with whomever we want. But why is it that only a few people get consistent results? Because they take constant action. They are consistent. So the gap between who you are and what you want is in what you do. That is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. That gap between who you are, which is an amazing professional, and what you want, that vision board that you have, those desires, is nothing more than what you do every single day consistently. This is how I do it here. This is how we do it here. And then when you have that and you develop that, you develop a routine. If you see in your screens, that is the formula of the routine. It's nothing more than a base created with 5, not 6. And another base. But let's say that we create it like this. And from this solid base, you can grow, you can develop, you can build. You can actually develop something. So between who you are and what you want, those are the two bases that are very solid. And if you look at that chemical formula, when you elevate, there is the logo right there of Business for Life. Because now you have a base. But ladies and gentlemen, if you have not developed by now a solid base, a routine, and a schedule that you can depend on, it's going to be very hard to build something. And by next week, when we talk about being patient, which is letting things take shape, don't expect a different result unless you take a different approach. So this session today about being consistent is not about quitting, it's not about blaming, it's not about feeling bad about something, it's simply looking and saying, what am I building? What is it that I'm really building? Am I building a business based on excuses or a business based on action? Do I need to take all the action at once, or can I start again and say, from this day forward, I'm going to make 4 contacts a day. I know my number said that I have to make 10, and it looked good and it sounded good, but I haven't done that. Because if you look at your numbers and your plan calls for 7 contacts a day, and we have been doing this now for 25 days, work days, times 7 contacts per day, let's say. So 25 times 7 is gonna give you like 145 or something like that, and you only have made 20. Well, maybe it's time to stop and say, hold on a second. What is it that I am not dedicated to? What is it that I am not doing? How can I just get back and start again, and instead of having a goal, and I'm gonna make this so it's clear for everybody, instead of having a goal this big, which sounds really good, my goal is going to be this. But I'm gonna do it consistently. And then I'm gonna do it again. And then I'm gonna do it again. And I'm gonna build a great business based on my desires, based on what I'm capable of doing, based on what I want to do. And I'd rather you be consistent and committed to making 3 or 4 contacts a day or 5 every single day you work than wishing to make 20 contacts and never doing it because it's too many. Make sense? So that routine, that schedule, that base, you decide today how many contacts, how many people, how many hours are you going to do every single day from now on consistently. It's time to adjust. It is time to adjust your goals. Look at your 12-week plan. Look at the numbers that you have achieved. Look at the gaps and make the adjustment. Or you can say, you know what, now that I know what I know, now that I'm clear on this, I am going to just start over and I'm going to make my 8, 10 contacts. In fact, I'm going to make 12. So that way I can catch up and I can finish exactly how I planned to start. Remember this, there is more than one way to prosper. It doesn't have to be one way. If what you're doing is not working, if you don't like it, then change it. Change it. Adjust. Just like we have adjusted this program, just like we adjusted the videos, just like we adjusted the sessions, to make it better every time so you're more excited about it. I wrote here, I don't give up until I have given 100%. If your plan was to make 6 contacts and you do 1, 2, 3, 4, don't give up here. Continue 5 and 6 until you complete. And then do it again. And build something worth your time, worth your life. But don't give up until you give it 100%. Don't give up on you because you are great. You are unique. So my recommendation is just look back and say, okay, what do I need to adjust? Because maybe that piece of puzzle that I was working with is not really helping me. And perhaps you need to take a little break. And I'm not talking about a break for like, oh, I need a vacation now because for 5 weeks I've been trying to do something and it's not working. I'm talking about a break from what you're doing that is not working and say, hold on a second, I'm going to take a break from 3 to 5. I'm going to study this again. I'm going to look at these pages of communication. I'm going to look at the book that I had at the workshop where it says the ABCs of prosperity. Maybe I'm going to just take a little break and go back, and instead of trying to go so fast, I'm going to go steady. I'm going to go consistent. And taking a break from trying to do something to actually committing to do something consistent is a good thing. But if after you do that, after you know that there is more than one way to do things, that you give it 100%, you take a little break, and things are not working, then I wrote, if the horse is dead, you gotta dismount. What does this mean? If you're giving it everything you can, you are dedicated, you're taking the actions that you need to take, you're getting results, and you're excited about it, and this is not working, you need to dismount. Maybe this is not for you. You need to get in a different horse, maybe a different career, maybe a different path, maybe a different habit to get where you want to go. You only have one life to live. It's precious. Every day, every hour, every breath, every moment counts to give you happiness, prosperity, peace. So these coaching sessions and being consistent is nothing more than creating a routine to prosper, a routine to excel, a routine to be so happy and achieve a lot more. So this session is critical for your success, because this is the session when you decide what is it that I need to do consistently. This is the session where you look at yourself and you hire yourself back and you say, I'm going to hire me, and I'm going to ask me to do these things consistently because I expect to have these consistent results. The tools that are going to help you be more consistent is the section of communication in your workbooks. We talked about 2 weeks ago that we're going to focus on that section of communication and prospect to prosper. So if you look at those sessions, prospect to prosper, and communication, you're going to reconnect. Then you report. I want you to look back at the 5 weeks. Some of you probably didn't track him, so you don't know. Some of you track him somewhere else. But make an effort to look at your numbers and do the best you can with what you have. But from this day forward, don't quit on you. Don't quit on your desires. Don't quit on your dreams. Shape up to grow up with this business. So look at the actions that you have taken. Look at the dedication you have for this. Make it a priority that you have a routine and your schedule. So 2 weeks ago we talked about the schedule. Last week we said keep the schedule. And this week you have to make sure your schedule is complete. That your schedule is exactly how you want it. Basically that formula that you saw, that routine that you're going to build something upon, is what you need to have. If you don't have a routine, you are not consistent. If you're not consistent, you're not dependable. And if you look back and you say, why is it that people don't trust what I do? Well, perhaps because it's not dependable. And perhaps because they want somebody that they can depend on. In fact, they're hiring you, they're paying you a great commission because they depend on you. So for you to be more attractive to the business, you have to become more dependable. For you to be more dependable, you have to have a routine. And for you to have a routine, you have to evaluate your desires, your goals, and adjust. If you do that, you will create a routine that inspires you, a routine that fulfills you, a routine that you cannot wait to get up in the morning and say, oh my God, I can't wait to get up in the morning, have my glass of water with lemon, do my meditation, smile, get ready for living my life fully. And consistently, you look at your plan, you look at your schedule, you look at the opportunities that are given to you, you look at your life, and you say, wow,